All right, folks, good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. And yes, of course, we're going back to the JRC, of course, but before we go again and do that, the brief disclaimers, edited, of course, and of course the trigger warning. So, folks, if you're unfamiliar with the Stop the Shots campaign or the campaign against the troubled teen industry, pertinent links are there in the description box for you, along with some helpful labels so that you know what you are clicking on. That way, if you want to go again on your own time and do your own deep dive into the JRC, you are absolutely able and encouraged to do so. Trigger warnings. We do have this channel marked not for kids for a reason. Well, a couple of them. First off, we do talk about dark subjects like the Judge Rotenberg Center and Agape Boarding School, in which case you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with mental health issues and disabled people being tortured and abused. And we do, of course, also use profanity as well. So if you are 16 and younger, or you have a kid that's 16 and younger, parental supervision is something that is very much advised. Also, you are more than likely going to hear me clear my throat, or sneeze, or you may hear some weird, very obvious sinus type of noises. I apologize in advance. I do not know how to edit in regards to this particular type of platform whatsoever, and considering how high speed everything is coming out of the GOP these days to attack literally just about every single right in regards to disabled people in alphabetical order, I haven't really had time to learn and also keep an eye on and continuing to cover things as they happen. So, yes, it's amateur hour. No, I do not know how to edit it. No, I do not know how to put in all the fun bells and whistles unless it's PowerPoint. I'm old. So apologies for that in advance, alright? Speaking of, 1 second please. There we go. Alright. Now we're going to move on to the next paragraph of this never-ending paper that gave us a conclusion and then continues to send more of the same crap. So, where we left off the other day. In 2022, Congress, with FDA's urging, amended the 21 USC and 360F to allow FDA to ban medical devices for one or more intended uses. The amendment. Are you really putting that in quotations? You can't do this if it's an actual amendment that has been finalized and cemented into federal law. What do you mean, air quotes? Contrary to popular belief, you can't just simply ignore laws because they don't favor you. Now, I know watching things in the current political climate right now tends to make people think that they can. The difference is those are politicians. And you, JRC, along with all the rest of the medical model, are on thin ice. Granted, not for the reasons, JRC, that you should be on thin ice, but thin ice nonetheless. You're not a politician. You're not a part of the MAGA movement. You do not get the same amount of leniency as those morons do. You should consider perhaps not acting as though you do. Okay? Because in this current climate, I don't think that's going to bode too well for you. Alright? Remember who is our current head. God help us all. Of the public health these days. a guy who believes he has a worm in his head. Digest that and quit going with the air quotes. The amendment is made. It's not a hypothetical. It is an actual amendment, whether you like it or not. Okay? And considering who's in the majority right now, I would say pissing all over Congress would not be the best decision for a place like the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center right now. Alright? But let me continue. Oh, no, before I do, let me address this real quick. It's like they do this all the time, and it's such absolute nonsense. Like, everybody is like evil that urges people to act against barbaric torture of disabled kids because we don't want people on human shock collars, regardless of what kind of justification people want to put up for it. The FDA has the power to act within their statute. Congress made that amendment, not just at the FDA's urging, but at the urging of places such as the Ark of the United States, Easter Seals, and the National Council of Directors for the Departments of Mental Health from all 50 states. Okay. This is not some like, well, the FDA pressured them and they just did it because they were under pressure. First of all, welcome to politics. Are you new? How do you think anything gets done? You know? If you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. In fact, I'll help you pack. We'll have several people more than willing to come up all the way to Canton, Massachusetts and help you take all your equipment, all your god-awful, horrific Disney puke special acid bad trip from hell decorations. We'll help you pack them up. Totally cool with that. But yeah. Come on now. Alright? It's a ridiculous argument. Now that FDA has this additional authority, the parents want to meet with the agency to describe the devastating impact a ban on the GED used to treat SIB and AB would have on the patients. For the love of God, we have already had this conversation, JRC. But the parents didn't have a chance to meet with the panel. They had 2 fucking years, Karen. Oh my God, are you high? The hearings began in 2014. Those parents, just like us advocates on the opposite side, had 2 years to come and speak their piece, just like we did, to the panel. Nobody is excluding them from access to the panel. We've heard their stories. We've heard this copy and paste crap over and over and over again, multiple times, over more than just a few decades. Some of us could probably quote your so-called arguments verbatim by now. 2 years. Those parents had the chance to go up and testify. And guess what, JRC? Don't tell me that nobody met with the parents. That's bullshit. YouTube is free. Pull up fact, we're going to do it here because that's how annoyed I am. Excuse me, that was from a previous video that I did the other day, obviously. Alright, we're going to do it for them. Oh goodness. Hold on, folks. Bear with me. Technical difficulties. Gosh darn it. There we go. Please ignore the political commentary. I sure as hell wish I could. Okay, so. I do kind of like I'm one of the first ones to pop up. We all have a little vanity, folks. Don't sue me or anything. So that's one of our folks testifying. We've gone over their own testimonies that they put forward as well, but I know that they're there because we've been going over it together for a minute. So I'm going to try this a different way. I'm going to try to reword it. No, we're going to seek help. And I'm sorry, folks. We kind of stink in regards to this stuff, so. Well, would you look at that? That's my own video for several years ago. That's one of the top ones. Again, we're not going to watch that. You guys have already seen it on the channel, I'm sure. But we are going to continue to go down a little bit. Goodness, sorry about this, folks. Again, I do not have an edit button to save my soul. Well, would you look at that? Sorry, folks, technical difficulties. There we go. Alright, do you see what this is? This is a gentleman whose son is one of the individuals at the JRC. Do you know what we are seeing with this particular video? We're not going to watch it, but we're going to go ahead and go on through it just a little bit. You want to know what that is? That is a parent testifying on the behalf of the JRC in front of the FDA panel. Oh, wait, there's more. Wouldn't you know it? Same room, another parent testifying on behalf of the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center. What's even more funny is if you look here, this showing of parents contacting and giving their testimonies and speaking their minds before the FDA panel, these are clips directly from the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center's own YouTube channel. What was that again about how parents had not gotten to talk to the FDA panel and how parents supposedly haven't had the chance to talk about how they think it's going to hurt their kids if they are taken off their human shock collars again, JRC? Because this is your YouTube channel. This is your YouTube channel. And look, there's a man named George. Here's George. Oh, for the love of God. Sorry about that, folks. We'll let it play over. Paranoline. A Mick. Whose YouTube channel is that again? Biscardi? Alright, folks, I think you all get the point. I think that is pretty self-explanatory, don't you? This idea that the parents have not had the chance to speak to the panel at all, and they want to tell them about how awful it's going to be if they remove the human shock collars off their kids, have definitely already have met the panel and have been allowed to speak and testify to that very same panel what they feel in regards to the GED device. Not only are you caught in a lie, JRC, but you are your own instrument in exposing your own lie. Those things I just pulled up are literally from the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center's YouTube channel. They're the ones who put it up there. They're the ones who came up with the headlines for them. But I'm supposed to believe that these parents haven't had the chance to explain to the panel about how they think all is lost if, somebody's not torturing their kids. Yeah. Alright, let's finish the paragraph here, get this finished up. This meeting takes on additional urgency in the light of the Biden administration's spring 2023 unified agenda of regulatory and deregulatory actions, which references the FDA's plan to use authority granted by the amendment. Well, guess what, dumbasses? Biden's not here no more. Let's start off with that. Number two, out of all the absolutely horrific brain dead and batshit insane shit coming out of the White House these days, the one thing they have actually managed to not screw up is, thankfully, they haven't done anything to that amendment as of right now. So, thankfully, that amendment's still in place. The FDA does still have full authority to pass through the ban. Okay? Yeah. And as far as creating another meeting, what is the point in that? What is the point in that? You have already said what you wanted to say. How many times are you going to just repeat yourselves and force us to listen to your abject, utter stupidity, ignorance, whether you're Kool-Aid drinkers or you think this is what people like me deserve for the great sin of breathing while autistic and not hating myself for the fact? None of that matters. The amendment is there whether the JRC likes it or not. This idea that these parents are going to have a meeting again with the same exact FDA panel when they have already testified in regards to their feelings on the matter, whose complete testimonies are a matter of public record and easily pulled up on the JRC's own website, no less, to show that they have already spoken these feelings in regards to the FDA panel. For the love of God, why do you all continue to insist on wasting everyone's time to regurgitate the same crap over and over and over again? It doesn't change anyone's mind about things, but if you repeat it loud enough, people will believe it. Well, JRC, in some cases, it appears that that old adage is not true, because you've been repeating the same nonsense for years, and wouldn't you know it, no one with a sane mind believes you. Obviously, your lie is not taking hold. One would think you all would be smart enough to at least attempt something else and go back to the drawing board, but no. We're going to continue on this dizzying amount of nonsense. There's no reason why there needs to be a separate meeting. Those testimonies are a matter of public record. There are transcripts of those testimonies. There are obvious video clips of those testimonies for the parents who spoke on the behalf of the JRC. Right up there on YouTube, on their own YouTube channel, for God's sake, that anyone can look up and see and show us that these parents have already had the chance to and already have spoken to the FDA panel in regards to their concerns. What would be the point of rehashing that again? Is there any new information that they're going to be bringing to this meeting that is actually pertinent to the subject? Or are they just going to continue to repeat the same crap again? Because if it's just to repeat the same crap, I don't know if you've noticed the world lately, but it's a little bit on fire, and quite frankly, nobody has time for that. Point blank. And we're going to go ahead and close on that, folks. And I'd like to ask you to forgive me for the beginning of the video, that little bit of vanity there. I try to be humble. I actually really do, but I am human and I have my moments. But at the end of the day, it's always about my neurodivergent fellows, no matter who they are, every day, all day. I just felt a need to apologize about that. Alright, we don't get very many views on this channel, and the few views we do get to get removed from time to time. So folks, if you would be so kind, please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and folks, please don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time this afternoon, and as always folks, we here at Spilling Tea absolutely hope you have a good one. And yes, please do make sure you're subscribed, hit the notifications bell, because right after this vid, which I do pre-record these, so yeah, you'll probably see it before you see this video, but Fridays are for the Down the Rabbit Hole series in regards to the anti-vax movement, where we are continuing on with Brian Deere deep diving into Dr. Andrew Wakefield and how much of that study that sparked our current conundrum with the public in regards to vaccines all start from that particular study. So we're going to be continuing that tomorrow. We're going to continue on in regards with Medicaid and eligibility so that, I can dispel the myths, the rumors, and just absolutely zero knowledge on the subject. Evil Phil Hartman for continuing down that line of stupidity. All right. And Sunday, of course, we cover Section 8 as well. So, I will see you next time, and I will also see you in a few minutes. Bye-bye, everyone.